How's it going, Toons of the world? It is your pal Mega Snoop bringing you another Toontastic video. And in today's video, I wanted to give you a sort of a guideline to the Toontown SOS cards. Now, if you don't know what an SOS card is, it's basically a favor that you get from a NPC toon when you save them from the Cellbot VP. So for instance, if you save Flippy from the Cellbot VP, he will reward you with 2 favors of any time you can call on him in battle, and he will come and tune you up for you. And before we get into it, there's about 30 different SOS cards that you can get from the Cellbot VP battle. However, you can only hold 16, so know to choose wisely. And that if there is an SOS card that you want, and you don't have enough room for it, you're gonna have to get rid of one to make room. There's also different rarities of the SOS cards, ranging from 3, 4, and 5 stars. 3 being the most common, 4 being a little more rare, and 5 being the rarest. But without further ado, let's go through the SOS cards and talk about what they do. We're going to start out with the tune-up SOS cards. For the 3-star, we have Madam Chuckle, who will tune up for 45 laugh points. So if it's just you, you get tuned up 45. But if there are 4 toons with you, they each only get tuned up 11. Daffy Don is the 4-star tune-up, and he will do 70 total laugh points spread out to however many toons. And then the 5-star tune-up is Flippy, who will do 124 laugh points spread across all toons. Which means, again, if there are 4 toons, each toon only gets 31 laugh points. Moving on to the trap, we have Clerk Will, the 3-star trap SOS, who deals 50 damage to the cogs. Next we have Clerk Penny, the 4-star trap, who does 70 to all cogs. And then the 5-star trap is Clerk Clara, who does a whopping 180 to all cogs. And now we're going to go into the lure. And this is where things get interesting, because there are 2 3-star lure SOSs, Nancy Gas and Stinky Ned, and 1 5-star lure SOS, Little Old Man. However, all 3 lure SOSs do the same amount. They will all lure the cogs for 4 rounds. Believe it or not, this is something I didn't even know until recently. So regardless of their rarity, they're all basically the same SOS card. I discovered this after surfing the internet and finding a video from Yumiko Makaya. Almost dumbfounded, I had to test it myself, and sure enough, all 3 SOSs lure cogs for the same amount of rounds. Next we have Sound. Barbara Seville, the 3-star, will do 40 health points to all cogs. Sid Sonata, the 4-star, does 50 to all cogs. And Mozart, the 5-star, does 80 to all cogs. Next we have the Drop. We have Clumsy Ned, the 3-star, who does 60 to all cogs. Franz Neckvein, the 4-star, does 100 to all cogs. And Barnacle Bessie, the 5-star drop, does 170 to all cogs. Next I'm going to go through the Restock SOSs. Professor Guffaw is Restock Tune-Up. Clerk Ray is Restock Trap. Dr. Drift, Restock Lure. Melody Wavers is Restock Sound. Baker Bridget with the Restock Throw. Sophie Squirt with Restock Squirt. And Shelly Seaweed for Restock Drop. And then there's Professor Pete, who is a Restock All. And the way that restocks work is that it restocks your highest level gags first and then moves down the line. For instance, if you use a Sophie Squirt, it'll first restock all of your Storm Clouds to full capacity, then it'll restock all of your Fire Hoses to maximum capacity, then all of your Seltzer Bottles to maximum capacity, until it hits the max amount of gags that you can carry. Professor Pete does the same thing, however, he starts with all level 6 gags and then moves down to all your level 5 gags. So he restocks all of your Foghorns, all of your Hypno Goggles, all of your Birthday Cakes, all of your Storm Clouds, before moving on to the level 5 gags. Next we have the Variety SOSs. These 3, Soggy Bottom, Soggy Nell, and Sticky Lou, are all toons hit and basically do the same thing. When used, it'll make sure that all the other toons in the battle using gags will not miss for that turn, which means when you're by yourself, it's basically pointless to use. However, it is helpful if somebody's using something like a Toontanic, which has a very low accuracy, but you want to make sure it hits. And the next 3, Flim Flam, Julius Weezer, and Mr. Freeze, are all cogs miss, which means for that round, all the cogs in the battle will miss all of the toons. However, no, it is only for that round. I know there are other SOSs, such as those introduced during Storm Cellbot, like Rocky and Loopy Loopin' Loop. However, I didn't feel like throwing them in here since they are not obtainable through the VP at this current moment, and also because I've already explained what they do in a previous video. And then of course there's the 2-star SOS cards that I'm not going to get into, because you can only get them from field offices and they're all basically garbage anyway, so we don't even need to mention them. But now after I've discussed all of the different SOSs, let's discuss which ones you should keep, which ones you should use, and which ones you should get rid of. I have 3 different groups that I categorize SOS cards in: the good, the bad, and the ugly, or the gray zone-ish. The good are obviously the ones you want to keep, the bad are the ones that you obviously don't, and then the gray zone is the one where some people will keep it and some people won't. It all depends from person to person. They're not necessarily bad SOS cards, but they're not necessarily the best either. For the list to keep, I have Daffy Don, the 4-star tune-up, Flippy, the 5-star tune-up, Clerk Clara, the 5-star trap, and then all 3 lures, Little Old Man, Stinky Ned, and Nancy Gas, because as I mentioned earlier, they all do the same thing. You don't need to carry all 3 of them, but just know they are interchangeable, so if you want to carry 1 or 2, that is fine. Sid Sonata, the 4-star sound, Mozart, the 5-star sound, Franz Neckvein, the 4-star drop, Barnacle Bessie, the 5-star drop, Melody Waivers, Restock sound, which will help basically everybody except for Soundless Toons. Some Soundless Toons won't carry Melody Waivers, and that's okay. And then of course, Professor P, because there are some moments where you need all your gags back. And now I'm going to go over the ones that you definitely don't want because they're pointless and won't help you at all. We have Clerk Will, the 3-star trap, Clerk Penny, the 4-star trap, Professor Guffaw, the Restock tune-up, Dr. Drift, Restock lure, Clerk Ray, Restock trap, Baker Bridget, Restock throw, Sophie Squirt, Restock squirt, and Shelly Seaweed, Restock drop. Just most of the restocks are not helpful. If anything, what the restocks do is they fill up your gags too much with unnecessary gags that you won't use. It'll be nice to get your level 5s and 6s back, but then it gives you like 20 level 4s and another 10 level 3s that you're just not gonna touch. This list is the gray zone. It's very debatable whether you take these cards or not, because depending on the person, they may be more picky and might want better SOSs, or they think that these SOSs work in a lot of situations. So the first one is Madam Chuckles, the 3-star tune-up SOS. Most people see this as a waste because it doesn't tune up very much. The only instance when Madam Chuckles is good is if you're by yourself and you need a tune-up, in which case, yeah, it does work. However, if you have a Daffy Don or a Flippy, most people will prefer those over Madam Chuckles. Barbara Seville, the 3-star sound. She does 40 to all cogs. However, again, same with Madam Chuckles, there are 2 better alternatives, Sid Sonata and Mozart. So if you have those 2, you don't really need the Barbara Seville. However, it is still nice to have, because in some instances, it works as another foghorn. So if you're out of foghorns, you can just pull out a Barbara Seville, and it doesn't quite do as much as a foghorn, but if you have 2 people using trunks and another person using a foghorn along with it, it'll still take out level 11s. Clumsy Ned, the 3-star drop. It does 60 to all cogs, which is still pretty decent. However, again, it's the 3-star drop, and both Franz and Barnacle Bessie are better suited for the job. 60 is still a decent amount. It's near the equivalent of using a foghorn while other people are using sound. So it's not a terrible SOS card, it's just not the best. And then the 3 Toons hit, Soggy Nell, Soggy Bottom, and Sticky Lou. You will not need these every battle. Heck, you won't need these most battles. It is a very rare time in which you need to use a Toons hit. Not that it never comes up, there are times in which Toons hit is helpful. However, I haven't seen it enough times where I personally don't carry it myself. So if you like Toons hit, that's great. However, just know you don't need to carry all 3 of them because that just takes up space. And then the last 3, Flim Flam, Mr. Freeze, and Julius Weezer, are cogs miss. Again, there are times and places for these. And just like with Toons hit, I haven't run into enough of them where I feel them necessary to carry. However, other people do. They help especially in things like solos where you lure cogs and after a certain amount of turns, the cogs will be unlured and begin to attack you. If you keep track of when that round is and you use one of these cogs miss, it'll guarantee that you will not get hit and then you can lure them again for another few rounds. It also helps in the instance where maybe you're low on sound gags, nobody has any more foghorns, but it's going to take a couple rounds to take out all these level 10s in front of you. So what do? You have 3 people use a trunk and then have another person use a cogs miss. So you'll attack them, no one will get hit, and then the next round you can all 4 use trunk and take out the level 10s. But that's my guide to the SOS cards, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section below, especially about these gray area cards. Do you use them? Do you not? Which cards do you prefer to take? Remember, there is only 16 that you can carry. What 16 do you carry with you? I would love to hear it, but thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you stopping in today. My name is Mega Snoop, and I will catch you guys next time. Hope y'all enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to smash that like button. It helps me know that my work is appreciated. Leave a comment and subscribe if you're new. You can check out my live stream at twitch.tv/Megasnoop. Follow me on Twitter at MegasnoopTTR, and I hope y'all have a toontastic day.